Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr, and you are listening to Fiber Talk, that twice-weekly podcast for people who stitch. And our guest this week, that was kind of an unenthusiastic thing. Oh, well. Our guest this week is Kurdy Biggs. Hi, Kurdy.
Hi, Gary. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Welcome back. What was that? I think you were the fifth guest we had.
Something like that.
Yeah, one of the first ones, it's a long, long time ago. So, yes, so thanks for doing this again. Yep.
Oh, it's fun.
This is 2 years doing this, so, yep.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with you that you have kept it going that long and found people to talk to.
Oh, I have a feeling I haven't even tapped into things yet. There's, I found a whole nother vein of people here just recently, so.
Excellent.
I mean, there's just so many stitchers in the world, because that's just it. You don't think about it, and when we first started, it was, we're going to run out of guests. We got to be careful. And then when you open it up to the world and all the techniques, there's an incredible number of very talented people all over the world that this could go on forever. I mean, I've got reached out to a couple people in Moscow right now. I'm hoping to hear back from them. I'd love to talk to somebody about what they do in Russia. And
I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I get emails and Facebook questions from people in Russia, and it does seem to be a large stitching community there.
Yeah, and I've been surprised, but once I found one, it's like the first drip, I found one, and then you start poking around and you're aware of it, and there does seem to be a pretty large stitching community in Russia in general. And some beautiful work, really beautiful stuff. So, hope to get that. But that's just it. Yeah, not a lack for people. And another one is the Australian community. Holy smokes, there's a lot of needlework going on in Australia.
Yes, there is. When I look on my website, it is amazing the number of hits from Australia.
Yeah.
Just as an interesting thing that they're so far away and it's hard for them to get materials, but they are quite dedicated stitchers. Yeah,
and of course, us Americans, we have that perception, incorrect that it is, so far away, but yeah, it's a lot of talent over there in all different areas, and it makes me, that's the one of the few places I'd really travel overseas to go to. And it's made me want to go to Australia even more, just to meet with some of these artists and see what they're doing. And it's a lot going on in Australia that's very impressive.
Yeah, it's always so nice to see what the different groups come up with, mm-hmm. because their architecture is different, their art is different from ours, so therefore their stitching.
Yes.
Is different as well, and I always find it very interesting to see what the different groups like.
Yeah. So this is going to go on a long time.
Good.
And it's fun. For me, it's just fun. Everyone is a different conversation, different things come out, and it's just fun to do, and the audience keeps growing, and I hear from people a lot that they enjoy, even if they don't do that particular technique. You learn something, or it expands your horizons a little bit, and that's worth it anyway. So,
I used to say when I rode horses and we'd do a clinic or something, and people would say, "Well, I didn't learn anything, and he didn't like this or something." I'm like, "Well, so you learned something. You learned something positive. You learned something negative, but you still learned something." Yep. You do want to do it this way. You don't want to do it that way.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that this is one of the few hobbies, needlework, where you can improve. Say if you're a needle pointer, and you try another technique. I think if you spend time with that other technique, that a lot of that will transfer back to needlepoint. Like you learn. You gain from other techniques that help you with your base technique, if I can use that term. I think this is
most definitely.
Yeah.
Like football players doing dance class, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It all comes together at some point in time.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's fun. And that's what, people, I've lost my enthusiasm. Then go try another technique.
Yeah, try something different.
Yeah, you might be amazed. You might find something, if nothing else, it'll challenge you. And then you might just find something you like even better, or at least a diversion, and that's worth it right there. So,
yeah, because it'll get your energy flowing again.
Right.
If you try something and you like it. Even if you go back to the original, you're 100% right. It will revive your interest a bit.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I got so many things going. I'm sure all of us do, projects going. But, that's right now I have a straight surface embroidery piece that I pick away at, a cross-stitch piece, 2 cross-stitch pieces, 1 a big sampler, and 2 needlework pieces, or 2 needlepoint pieces. And I just bounce around, and every now and then I'll have a thought, I really should finish one of these. And then I think, I don't care.
Right.
It'll get done eventually, so who cares,
No, and lots of people do that. They have, up to 15 things they're working on. I've been to visit people that have closets full of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, they just go and choose what they want to do at the time. And I think that has great choices for you, right? You don't have to do this, because if you have to do something and it's something you don't really like, you're not going to stitch because it's not the piece you want to do right now.
Right. And I think that's the key, is don't put pressure on yourself. I've got to get this finished. No, you don't.
Right. No. And if you don't like it, then don't finish it, because it carries over. If you don't like a piece, it doesn't come out looking as nicely as you would think, because you didn't really like it.
Yeah, you tend to slop through it a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's okay. That'll work.
Yeah, yeah. And yet the other piece you're working on, you would never dream of that. Yeah.
Precisely. It's like, I don't like this, I have to take it out. Right. Whereas if you don't like it, you're like, who cares?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You can't see it from the galloping horse, so it doesn't matter.
But that, to me, that's the underlying key. Yeah, just don't put any pressure on yourself. Just do it. And and yet there are people who only do one project. I got to go beginning to end. Well, that's your personality. That's what you enjoy. Then do it. But I'd be curious to talk to those people. Now that we talk about this, next time I talk to Arlene Cohen, she's a one project person. I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask her if, when she runs into something that she doesn't care for, if she plows ahead or she just chucks it, just said forget it.
I think that would be a very interesting question, because I am pretty much a 1 or 2 piece person, because they all have to get done at a certain time. So I don't have the luxury of saying I'm not going to do this now. I have had it not work the way I wanted and just given that colorway a rest and gone to a different colorway, and liking that better, liked the piece better.
Yeah.
So that goes back to if it's not something you like, it's probably not colors or something, and they're not your colors, you don't enjoy stitching with them.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because and it's been so long since we talked, I don't remember. You stitch all your models?
I stitch all my teaching pieces, because even if I have a couple colorways, I don't always stitch the colorways. But if it's only 2, I will stitch them, because I think that helps me write the directions up better, having done it twice. On the retail pieces that have 3 colorways, I have had a model stitcher do 2 models. That's it. I've done the rest myself.
Okay. So
you learn something.
Yeah. So the question I was going to ask is when you offer the colorways, do you like all of them? So not necessarily then, because you don't have to stitch them.
No, because you have to appeal to that wider audience, right? And they like blues. Ugh, just don't get that. But
my favorite color, Kurdy.
See, and that's it. So that's when I have to make myself go ahead, because I am not a blue person. I am not particularly a purple person. But you have to do those because they're very popular colors.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at it.
See, that's interesting, because and I think if I were to go to a therapy session, that the reason blue is my favorite color is because I have the typical male red-green color blindness
Right. So
thing.
it's my husband's favorite color as well, and he has that color blindness.
Yeah, and I think that it almost by default becomes your favorite color because it's not it's not confusing.
Right. You could be right, because as a child, you just probably went for it because
Right.
it was the same, right?
Right. Because see, my red green is not severe. It's when you get into the shades that I start having trouble. I mean, you give me a Christmas red and a Christmas green, I'm good.
Yes, but
the
when
shades.
the values change.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Oh. And I can tell, and I always love it when it comes up, because then it's like a freak show. Well, what color is this? What color is that?
Oh,
and
yeah. It's like
long ago, I just said, I'm not playing that game. I'm just not playing it. Because I discovered I had it in a biology class in high school. The teacher was the football coach, and he had those dot pattern things, the standard dot patterns. Can you see the number in it? And so he was just doing a lesson on it was biology, vision, how your eye works, all that stuff.
Right.
And he was holding them up, and stupid me, I raised because all the kids were shouting out the number. He'd hold it up and shout out the number. I raised my hand and said, "What are you talking about? What? There's no number there. What are you guys seeing?" So he hauls me to the front of the room. In high school, freshman.
Right. That's not
Yeah, but he's a football coach. He's got no sense of anything. And so I'm up there, the test guinea pig here, in front of a classroom.
In high school.
Oh, geez. I'll never forget it. I mean, I still have a vision in my head of standing up there, and he's holding up these things. And
you're going, what number?
Yeah, and I'll give a number, and he'd say, "No, it's not. It's this." And, he just, absolutely no sensitivity at all. So that's how I discovered that I had a red-green color blindness.
That was so nice and helpful of him.
Oh, yeah.
But do you remember that dress a couple years ago that you saw was white or blue-black?
Yes.
Well, yes. I saw it as violet. So we all see color differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's just it. It isn't that I don't see color. And when it comes to reds and oranges and stuff, it's not that I don't see the colors and they're either pleasing or not to me. That all is still in place. But for me to define a color as red or orange.
Orange is,
can't do
right
it.
there when they get really close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I am such a yellow-orange person that when I walk into the orchid place, Hannah, the girl that used to work there, would go, "Oh, look, come right over here," because she knew which ones I wanted. She didn't show me the purple or bluish one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's it's just interesting. So that helps me understand the selections that you have. Okay.
Yeah, no, we all have different things. I love to watch who's buying my patterns in what colorway and look at what they're wearing. I think it's just a fun game I play.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually we wear the colors we like.
And so then you see people choosing the colors for their needlework.
And it's just fun. It's just an interesting game to play as people select them. But sometimes they're selecting for their mother or mother-in-law, kids. So it's different. But I just find it to be interesting. Yeah.
Because I do that when I go into a store. Say there's a wall of Karen collection threads. Right. Oh man, I'm like a magnet to the blues and all the variations. It's like, oh, give me more of that. And the other stuff, whatever. So it's yellows and oranges for you. Okay.
Yep, and the golds, that whole spectrum. Okay. Those are mine.
Yeah. Because see, it's interesting because I bought your hexafus.
Yes.
Do I say that right?
You said that correctly.
Hexafus. What does that mean?
That is the barn signs in Pennsylvania. The Amish and the Dutch.
Oh, that foos. Oh, that foos comes. Okay.
And so when we lived in New Jersey, we were near the Lancaster area of Pennsylvania, and we would go out there. for weekends and whatnot. And you would see the signs on the barns. And so my husband looked it up, and that's who named it, because I was like, a four-sided something. It needs a name.
That'll sell.
Yeah, exactly.
A four-sided something. Yeah. That's gonna market well. Yeah.
You know, I hate naming. I hate naming things.
Oh, I gotta believe for you guys, that's just the worst thing, is how to come up with something. Yeah. And
it's like, okay. So I'll go to an EGA or ANG meeting and say, okay, it needs a name, and people will pop up with something, and you go with that.
Yep. Just to be done with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
something.
Yeah, this hexafus, because somebody stitched that, because I think I wrote to you and said, can I borrow a photo? And stitched the Ephrata colorway.
Yep.
That's done on black canvas. And that's what made me buy this, was seeing that, because I've never done anything on a black canvas. And
right. So that one is named Ephrata because there is a town in Pennsylvania that is named Ephrata, and it had an artist collection, and my husband and I used to go there and buy the oil-filled kaleidoscopes. And so I thought it was a great name for that piece because it looks kaleidoscopy with the black background and all the crystal type colors.
Yes.
So that one I actually had a name for. But not the hexafus, but the Ephrata part. And the other colorway is Bird in Hand, which is also a small town out there in the Lancaster area.
Oh.
As is the Strasburg is a town we used to go and ride the train when the kids were young at Christmas.
Oh, so there we have it. Yep, little memory there.
So those were easier because it was to name because there was something associated with them.
Yeah. And for folks who are wondering, I'll have pictures on the page, so you'll be able to see.
What are they talking about?
Yeah. But
We're
it's just
Texas on people.
Yeah, so I'll put pictures in. If you're watching on the FlossTube version, the pictures are appearing before you. So yeah, you'll be fine. But yeah, so this Ephrata one, that was the first thing I was thinking was what I would do with the colors, whether to stitch it the way you have it or go more blue, because that was my first thought was, if I could get some real rich blues in here, more. Might adjust this and this. I don't know. I have to play with it a little bit.
You could definitely do a bluer version by taking out some of the greens, maybe.
Yeah.
Or once you get the 4 twisted helix type things done that go around the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then in the inside, it's very easy to play with the colors, and it's easy to play with them in the 8 blocks as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. My favorite thing is to get a start of what you want and get your canvas and then just throw threads on it. If you like them, you keep them. If you don't, you trash them. I will tell you from my butterfly piece, Mariposa, that I did dark blue on black, so I would caution you to not go too dark. Because
that was
to be able to see the whole.
That was the other challenge that I immediately I thought, I have to be careful because I can't go royal blue on black because then what's the point?
No, it would be very, very hard. It looks nice when it's done, but it's very hard to see where you have stitched and where you have not.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to play with that.
Yeah, and it's fun. I can't wait to see what you come up with. It's actually a fun piece, and all those little squares in the helixes, they make great little ornaments all by themselves.
Oh yes, I can see that they would.
Yes, you could also make a cube out of 6 of them easily.
Yeah. See, and that's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing I think people don't do enough of is take a design and pull apart. Yeah.
Yeah, there are small pieces inside every design that you can pull apart out of and do that for a smaller piece.
Yeah. Is that part of your design process? Do you start with a main element and then build off of that? Or how do you see those designs come together?
So, it depends on the design. Usually I start in the middle and work outward and have a vague idea what shape I want it to come out to be, say a circle, or whatever. And I start and build outward, usually to a point. So there's like the center, and then going around it is the first layer, shall we say, and maybe the second layer. So I build out to borders sometimes. On my stocking I released last year, All That Glitters, if you look at it, you can see 6 separate areas. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as a stocking cuff. And what I decided was I wanted to do things, motifs that you could take out as ornaments if you did not want to do the whole cuff. So if you had that pattern and you didn't wish to do the whole cuff, there's 6 separate motifs in it. So you could take those out and do whatever you want with them. And then I did the motifs around and I filled in between, basically.
Okay.
So that one was a little different, but I knew what size I wanted, so I started there and then did the motifs.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that comes to my mind when I look at these is how do you the size? Do you, in most cases, you just let that be whatever it is when the design finishes in your head, or
Yep.
do you start out and say, I'd really like this to stay no bigger than this?
It turns out what it turns out.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Sometimes you have to, like, say, for the cuff bracelets in the silver, it has to be this big. And that's okay, but it's a little boring. Because I like to play, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, but I just finished one last night that is something like 6.66 inches by 6.66 inches. But done. There it is.
Some canvas will just have to show around the edges. You'll be all right.
Yeah. If you want to put it in a standard frame, or you could just make it a larger ornament. But
Yeah.
I have one round piece that I wanted to look like stained glass. So I made a circle as big as the holder I had seen online.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I found these really cool stand-up holders for stained glass, and they fit around a piece. So I did draw my circle to fit in the holder I wanted to put it in.
But then, in your artist mind, though, you've already confined yourself, so
yes,
you struggle with that.
Well, because that piece has all these little squares and rectangles, like it's stained glass.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is limiting because you just have to fill in the 8 or 16 or 32 squares.
Right.
Because most of it's by 8. However, it's a good teaching piece for 3 or 4 days because I draw it all on the canvas for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody comes in the second day, they can just start where we are, right? They don't have to build off of anything.
Oh, so you have basically built-in modules here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's interesting. It's been a very, very popular class, so I am trying to come up with a companion piece for it.
Is that that's the Blue Ridge Reflections?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I've drawn a companion piece.
To go with it. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right.
We'll see. Proposals aren't done yet for EGA, so.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you had in the A&G seminar, you had honorable mention for your cuff that you did, and then that Blue Ridge Donna Pence.
Donna's. Yeah, she got a second, right?
Second, yeah.
Oh, isn't that excellent? She asked me if she could put it in. She was such a dedicated student that every night she would ask me which ones we wouldn't be covering tomorrow so she could go ahead and stitch all those.
Oh. So this piece is what she did in the class with you.
Yes.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And she had, I would easily say, 3/4 stitch before she left.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, she's dynamite. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, a lot of people have told me they really like that piece because even if they're having a hard time with the stitch, they only have to do,
Yeah.
4 inches of it.
Right, right. Yeah, and then it's over.
Yeah, but Kurdy has to draw all the canvases. See, that's the drawback.
Oh. Now, see, that's interesting. So you draw, because, see, I would never want, I'm not a big fan of pencil drawn on my canvases. I would just count them out.
Well, but then you get it wrong. The thing is with this one, you can draw it because you have a number 8 or 12 Kreinik that is simulating your, what do they call the things in stained glass between it? The metal part?
The lead part?
Yeah. So it's simulating that. So you backstitch over that and tack it down so the pencil marks aren't seen.
Oh, I see.
Because they're all in the well, in the ditch in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you cover them all up. I, myself, would like to, I just count it when I do it. But if someone gets wrong, then everything's going to be wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I'd take that chance. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're quite welcome to. If you take the class,
well, thank
tell
you.
me that I don't have to draw it. I'll be like, wonderful, Gary.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, you just saved me 45 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the marking on the the marking on the ground cloth.
No, I'm not a fan of it either, but that's the only one I do mark on.
Yeah.
Because I was going to send it out and have everybody base the lines or whatnot. But then if they didn't have it done or they did it incorrectly, I decided it would take more time than it would to just draw them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, make the actual class as efficient as you possibly can, yes.
Exactly, because there are 50 of those little squares and only a few of them repeat. So
yeah, yeah. Another thing, all kinds of questions for you. So you got honorable mention for the All That Glitters stocking cuff.
Yes.
Did you know you were going to enter that when you stitched it?
I knew I would probably enter one. There are 4 of them, right? 4 colorways because there are 4 people in my family right now. I'm not sure if anyone joins the family, they'll get one. But I knew I would enter one, and I had people choose which one.
So do you stitch that different knowing you're going to enter it, or is it just you just stitch it and whatever it is, it is?
If I know I'm going to enter it, I do pay a little more attention. Most definitely.
A little more attention.
How's that? Is that nice? Yeah, I definitely do. And for the teaching pieces, right, that are going to be previewed at national seminars and such things,
mm-hmm.
You do take a little more time and effort.
Okay. Because it just seems like that immediately there's pressure on, because if I was going to enter something, I can just imagine the pressure I'd put on myself from stitch 1 to have everything absolutely perfect. And at some point, I think with most of them, I just get so tired of pushing myself, and I'm pretty picky anyway, but I think I'd just wear myself out.
You have to take it all with a grain of salt, because have you ever watched a judging?
No.
Okay, so there's a wonderful judge out here in Colorado who passed away recently, but she was wonderful. She would let you go to the Boulder County Fair, and she would judge everything, and you could watch. So I went the first year I was out here when I just started designing, and just listened to her comments, and it helped a whole lot. They maybe spend 5 minutes with a piece, depending on how many pieces and that sort of stuff. So you have to realize that they're not going to see everything, and they didn't have the pattern.
Yeah.
Right.
So they only know what's in front of them.
Precisely. A couple do use lights and magnifying glasses. Okay, that's good for them. You can't take that into account, like you said. Otherwise, you'll ruin the whole piece because you're tearing everything out to redo constantly.
Okay, see, and that's where I would wear myself out. I mean, I'm pretty picky.
Yep.
But that's what would make me would just suck the fun out of it, was the thought of somebody staring at it with a magnifier. So you just can't, you have to just let that go, because otherwise you'll never get the piece done and it won't be any fun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you have to, oh, look, this one's a whole thread off. Well, yeah, then you do have to take it out. but I find if you just pay attention to things like ending your threads and starting your threads, so you can't see them and that sort of stuff. And then just keep your tension good and go for it, because you can't tell if you're going to put it in front of a judge that hates Christmas colors, right? If you put it in front of a judge that hates blue, oh, her name might be Kurdy. Right? Yep. So you have to let a lot of it go and just do your best, but not drive yourself totally bananas. Yeah. Your OCD cannot. But I have a friend who says that if you're truly OCD, it would be CDO, because it would be in alphabetical order.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yeah, you have to let your CDO go and stitch for yourself. It's your piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know that I'd ever enter in a competition, but I would be interested to have someone a judge my piece, any of them, just to get the feedback.
That is the important part. Honestly, I like to see the feedback. You don't always agree with it because it's someone's opinion, right?
Right.
But it's just good to have, and you learn from it. I used to go watch Barbara at the fair all the time, even if I didn't have pieces, because it was just interesting, and not all of them share with you like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found it very, very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And I also find it very interesting that you send things out and they get judged, and you get the comments back and your points and whatnot. And one of mine that did really badly, being judged a place or two, is one of my best-selling designs. So, right. So it's personal preference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I don't mean that the judges were bad or anything. It is just people do not necessarily go by the criteria the judges do. They like it and they want it, and there you go.
Well, and that's part of art. I got to believe every musician performer in the world has a song they absolutely hate that the crowd must hear every time.
Because you're going to go see them, and
Yep. Yeah. I can always just watch the Grammys Sunday night, and that was one of the things I was thinking about, is how many of those people, their most popular song, they don't care if they ever perform again.
Oh yeah, no, and what was that song? Don McLean, I think, had one that everybody loved and he hated, and apparently he would just mess it up on
American
purpose.
Pie?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He hated it, but that's everybody's, song they want to hear.
Well, name one other song that he recorded.
Don McLean did. No, I can't.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's an iconic thing, but I'm sure he just shoot me before I have to do this again.
Oh yeah, we went to see the Eagles in July.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Buffett, can't leave Jimmy Buffett out. But I'm sure there are songs that they don't want to sing anymore.
Yeah.
That they've sung, but you have to do Hotel California. You have to do, da 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 da, because people want to hear those.
Yep. Well, that's the art thing. But I always go back to Michael Jordan, where he would, how do you put out at the maximum every time?
Precisely.
And he said, well, because there's somebody in the stands that this is the only NBA game they'll ever see. They saved up their money to come and see me. And if I slop through a game, I'm just putting words in his mouth, but basically if I slop through a game, I've cheated them. And so I can't do it. Yeah.
And the fact that someone at that level thinks that way is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I'm sure a lot don't. Yeah.
No. exactly.
But that's art. I mean, for him, it's the art of playing basketball. But
Yes.
in any of those, yes, you just got to deliver, because you never know who's out there, and you don't want to ruin their one opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to strive to be the best that you can on that day for those people. And it's the same as seminar. Not everyone can afford to go regionally or nationally every year. So this could be, just like he said, the one time they get to go.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. The one time they have a week in the summer, they can get away, and they saved up the money, and yeah, you got to make it the best for them. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No pressure there.
No, none at all.
No.
I love to teach, though, so I don't have a problem generally.
Yeah, teaching is a blast. Yeah, I always said when I was teaching school that the best time was when the bell rang and the door closed. And all right, now it's just me and the kids, and yeah, nothing like it. No.
No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got to ask you about a couple of other designs.
Okay.
I just have to know these things. So take Pearl Frost.
Fun.
That is not, and it's interesting to me. Okay, you take Pearl Frost, and it's interesting to me because your pieces, and I don't mean, this isn't a negative, but your pieces are fairly dense in terms of what you put into them. And then you come along with Pearl Frost, which is really quite open and free, I guess. And it's just beautiful. And with all the beads and stuff, where does that come from? What was that one?
It's supposed to be a snowflakey or frost crystal. So I just started building out, and you wanted it to be open. It does have 8 sides because I'm not trying to do 6. That's lots of math. So, and lots of Control Z to go backwards. So I gave that up after about an hour. Yeah. But Pearl Frost is fun because as you go out on the verticals and the diagonals, I changed them side to side. So north and south, they're the same stitches, but I changed the configuration. Like the crescents are loop down one way and loop up the other way. So it's a game too. You get to do the piece. You can do it exactly like it is. You can play with the stitches. You can make them all different. You can make them all the same, and people like that sometimes. Sometimes they don't, but that's the deal. They can change it or they can leave it. A lot of them did choose in seminar last year to make a sampler out of it and do, it this way here and that way there, and do them all slightly different. Yeah, so it's fun. I take my computer and my projector so you can move the things around on the chart and they can see how you flipped them and the difference it made. So it gives you something to talk about and to decide which way they like the looks of it. Because like we said, everybody's different, and their look on something is they think it goes better this way or they like it flipped the other way. So we got to play. It was fun.
Oh,
But
okay.
it is open. And if you look at the blue one really carefully, you can find where another piece fell off the wall and broke the canvas. Put a hole in the canvas. Yes, I was walking around putting the pearls on it to see what I liked, and they were hitting the floor. And I was like, oh, no. But my friend Alita fixed it for me mostly, and the framer was great. She put a suede mat behind it that matched the canvas, and then, matted it. So it's in one of the little scallops, so it doesn't show up too much. But I always tell them, look, see, this is what you had a decision to make, right? Could you deal with it this way or could you not? Because if you couldn't, you have to start over.
I see it there. Do I see it here on the right side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, you have to study it.
You have to study it. But I decided to leave it for that reason, because a lot of teaching, like we're saying, do you pick it out? Do you change it? Is personally driven, right? Some people, If they have to take it out, they're never going to pick it up again. Other people have to take it out. And as a teacher, you have to accept which way they are, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I left it there to show that, okay, it does have a defect. How badly does it affect you?
Yeah.
Me, I try to put it on the bottom when it's shown because people usually look in the middle and up.
Ah, okay.
But, it works. Otherwise, I had to stitch it again. And
ooh, that would have been irritating.
Yes, exactly.
Really irritating.
Really irritating. So, yeah. So it's there, but it's not horrible.
Well, but that it saved the piece. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly. If it looked really bad, I was going to give it to my mother. But you didn't hear me say that.
No, I'll not cut that out of the recording here. No.
Because it's not obvious.
Yeah. No, it's not.
You would forget it was there.
You really have to study it to find it. But yeah, when you mentioned that, then it was immediately a challenge for me, and
Oh yeah, no, that's what everybody does. But that's why I find it interesting, because some people can deal and other people can't.
Yep.
And that is personally driven. If it's going to drive you bananas, if you have a stitch that you keep looking at and say, do I like this? Do I not? Go ahead and take it out and do it in a different thread. Because if you keep asking yourself that, it's going to be harder to take it out in the end when you've stopped and started other threads in it.
Yep.
That is my, I've learned that the hard way.
If you have to, now my policy, if I have to pull something out, like if I make an error or just don't like it, I do it immediately, no matter how late at night it is. I get it out of there and get at least a couple of stitches started on the return,
Yes.
Because if I wait till the next day, it's just awful.
Yeah, and you might not pick up the piece again.
Yeah.
So I think that is definitely the best policy. Go ahead and get it out so you're ready to start fresh.
Yep. Yeah, because that's what it weighs on my mind. Oh, geez. Oh, if I pick that up, now I got to tear all that out. Oh, no, just.
Yes, so go ahead and get it done. And I have learned that, people will say, oh, no, it looks okay. Well, it's not whether they think it looks okay. It's whether you think it looks okay. And if you keep asking, obviously you don't think it looks okay.
Right.
So, this is, 50 pieces in. I now know that one can say, that doesn't work. Let's take it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the old, here's my new piece. I just finished it. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, it is, but.
Precisely.
If that's in your head, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get it out of there. Yep.
Get it out. Go ahead. Be done with it.
Yep. Yeah, because you should never have that in your head. You should, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I always say to our handbell choir people, because no matter when you perform, there's never been a perfect piece.
Oh no.
And people come, oh, it was so beautiful, and especially if they're fairly new ringers, it'll be, oh, thanks, but we did this wrong and we did that wrong. No, just say thank you. Just say thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Yep. Yeah,
and that's like going back to the judging thing too. They don't know what exactly it's supposed to sound like.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So pretend that that's what you meant to do.
Yep. Oh yeah, we've had a couple of those pieces. Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, if you only knew.
Precisely. But you just.
If you only knew.
Yes, exactly. Showing horses, if you went in and your horse picked up the wrong lead, you just make a circle that way and then change it like you meant to start that way.
Yep. Yep. Never know. Well, now this Pearl Frost, a lot more beads than you normally use?
Yes, it has pearls in it. Pearls.
Hence the name, yeah.
Yes, Pearl Frost, yes. And should it be Frosty Pearls or Pearl Frost or anyway?
Whatever.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. The thing with all the pearls. Yeah, I enjoyed playing with them. It was interesting. Yeah. I ordered more colors of pearls than you've ever seen in your life and had a good time. Because they give it a different look than the crystals.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, so it's fun, and everybody seemed to have a good time at the pilot and at the class last year, and I think I'm teaching it 2 more times this year and something in 2020. Yeah, so it's it's not an intimidating piece.
No,
Does that make sense? Because it is very open.
Right.
Yeah,
oh no,
so,
you can no, it not intimidating at all. No, you can see it very clearly tackling that without any trouble at all. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It has so much dimension to it.
Yes, it came out well. I started it with cathedral in mind, and then went more for the open and crystal.
Yeah.
Piece, but it's different. But I was really happy with it.
Yeah. Well, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Okay.
Another thing I got to buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now this one that you're doing, you're coming to the Fox chapter to
Yes.
pilot Trilogy of Stitches.
Yep, part 2.
Part 2. So you got different colorways, but 2 circles with a diamond in the middle, kind of a vertical, kind of you get what chain in your finishing. Looks like you have some chain stringing the 2 together.
So you have your options with this piece. We did the first piece last year, and it was all one piece, and it was really fun class. So for this year coming up, you have 2 octagons and the diamond. So I did an octagon, a diamond, an octagon, and you can make it all one piece joined together and frame it, or you could do a diamond, an octagon, and another diamond, right? You can put together what you want with this piece, or you could do them all separately. So I think it's going to be really fun. We're going to have fun at Fox Chapter doing the pilot and talking about what people like, if they want to do it as it is or if they want to change it up. I think it should be interesting to see what they want to do.
Yeah. Well, and when doing a pilot class, that's part of what you get out of it.
Yes. I want to get the feedback about, do you like it this way? Do you want to finish it flat? Do you, framed with a mat? Do you want to make a wall hanging out of it? Do you want to do whatever? Since I did the wall hanging with mine, because it's about, 25, 26 inches with the chain. And if I frame that, it's hard to get it around, right? By the time you did the mat and everything, it wouldn't fit in the suitcase. So these are things also that...
Finishing determined by travel parameters.
Exactly. And it weighs much less. So, it's... And if you do 2 colorways, then you have 2 of them that are awkward. So I did it that way. I've already seen a frame version of part 1 that I did in, was it August in EGA? And it looked really nice. I did mine flat as well for that one. But yeah, so everybody's open. Some people will just do them, to have separate ornaments, I'm sure.
What makes you do a part 1 and part 2?
Well, you see these designers that you get turned down for seminars because they have to have someone do part 3 of their series.
Oh.
So I said, well, I can do part 1, 2, and 3. See, I'm very honest.
Hey.
And so the colorways are basically the same, but I change the overdyed each time, and I keep a thread or 2 that are the same, and then the others are just slightly different. So they could all hang together. They will go together, right?
Uh-huh.
Or they can all be separate. So I've had fun playing, and I'll tell you that the part 3 has an arch and a circle and a triangle.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Whoa. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. How much?
So I'm playing with arches.
Yeah. Overdyes really playing a big role in, overdyes must have really opened up as the years have gone on, opened up your options. Yay, nay?
Definitely. So my Jessica Lane piece, right, that I recently did on Shining Needle, if you look at that piece, it's bright in the center and darker in the outside,
yes,
the outer courtyard. So it's all based on the same overdyed from Treenway Silks. Susan and I were playing one day down at her house, and we must have pulled out.
Oh, she's
70
fun. Is that a fun lady or what? Huh?
Oh, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. And we get down there and we start pulling threads and talking, and it's like, oh, God, it's 2 hours later. But what we noticed was we had so many colors that could go that I decided I would make that piece a little study on overdyed. So the middle are the bright or spring colors of the overdyes, right, that match.
Yep.
And the outer level are the fall colors.
Okay.
Just to show you off of one overdyed how many different ways it can go. So it's interesting.
Yeah, okay, you got me here now. I'm studying this. Yep.
It's just the inner courtyard is brighter, and then you have the little border, and then you step out to the darker one. And I love the little medallion things on the corners. They were great fun.
Look at you.
Yeah. So isn't it interesting, though, the way it comes together?
Yeah, but I can see how those overdyes. Yeah, I just often think for all of you designers that those just open up the world. Oh,
they do, because you open it up, you choose the colors you want to pull out of it, and it's great. You can just go from there. But that Jessica Lane is to show you that they're even off the same overdyed, the values and the tones make a difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's named Jessica Lane because we lived in Jessica Lane for 20 years, I guess. And when we started, we had, the little gardens because the house was brand new, and they were nice and organized like the middle of the picture. And then by the time we left, everything was wild because, we'd throw all the seeds back in and everything. So we had 5 foot tall plants, and it plants everywhere. John had over 200 varieties of daylilies,
Okay.
Yeah, so I named it after the house on Jessica Lane with all the flowers. So for that one, when I designed, I was thinking of flowers. Might not always look like flowers, but that was what I had in my mind.
Your own personal story right there in the design.
I know, but it's sort of cool. It's because I miss our flowers out here. Colorado is so dry. You have some, but not like you could in New Jersey because it rained all the time,
Yeah, slight difference, yep.
So that's probably why I have all the orchids inside, and I don't count them, so I don't know how many there are.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Because I'm sure it's in the 3 digits, but we don't want to know that.
Yeah. When I was listening to a FlossTube, Caroline Hoff was off the grid needle arts,
right?
And she had was doing questions this week or the week that we recorded this. She was doing questions, and somebody asked how many projects she had going, and she's, I don't know, and I don't want to know, and yeah,
no, that's it. It's
not interested.
How many projects I have going right now? Oh my word! Yeah,
yep.
Look, I'm looking at my desk. Oh, it's a horror.
It's part of it.
It is.
All right, I gotta get one more in. So many things. Talk about the Shining Needle Society. Now that's something that people can take classes online. Talk about how that works for you and what that's like to teach a class through the Shining Needle Society.
Well, first off, Kate that runs things is absolutely wonderful. And I like online classes. Jessica Lane was my first one with Shining Needle, but I've done a couple with Cyber Pointers and ANG and Cyber Stitches. But I like it. You send everyone their kit if they want a kit, or if they want to pull their threads, you give them some advice. And then you have X many lessons. And so I divide it up like a 2-day or a 4-day class, right? So you 2 a day for a 2-day class, or 8, or even 6, depending upon it. And so what you do is you post PDFs, basically, of all the things you would say if you were there. Pay attention to, traveling with this thread. You can see it from the front. How do we start? How do we stop? You put all that in there, and then my husband has helped me make stitch videos, because if I did them, they would just be the video from the camera. But he puts the graph and everything on there. Somehow it's magic. But so I put the links to YouTube and my website for the certain stitches, so you can go and see them being done, and then you answer the questions. It's a nice interaction because you can do it anywhere, anytime. If they got threads and they're not sure what to use, you can help them. I think it's a great thing that's going to grow because travel is expensive, and the younger generation is quite adept at doing everything online. So I love my stitch videos. They help a lot. I need to get more done, but I think it's a really, really interesting way to do things. And I have a few coming up with EGA and ANG as well. And another shining needle as soon as we get organized.
And you stay right on top. When you have a class going, you stay right on top of that in terms of answering questions and helping people move along then.
Yes, I try to check it once or twice a day, especially in the couple days after you post the new lesson. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that's when you have the most questions. And, then if they find an error in the chart or something, you can get it corrected and email a new one out to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, because things do happen, you try to make them all correct, but you can teach something 15 times and somebody will go, well, this number doesn't go here. You'll be like, look at that.
Hey, happens to us in every issue of the magazine. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Never been a perfect one. Never been a perfect. Yep.
And, somebody told me I really needed to talk to my proofreading department. Okay, that's nice.
Department. Yeah, the department.
Yeah. Maybe I can find them somewhere. They're hiding, apparently.
Yeah. As soon as they get back from vacation, you'll have a chat.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. So, but you do try to find good people, that will read it. I have a very good friend that has done my 2 model stitches, and she will read it like she's never done one of my designs before. So she does do a very good job.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are always things are going to slip by, right?
All the time. Yep. We had, we just finished up the January and February issues for both magazines. And, here's a classic example. I can't tell you how many times on the cover I looked at the spelling of January because in 2018 we misspelled January on the cover.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can spell cathedral now solely because I have a design named Cathedral at which John did the front page incorrectly. Yes.
Yep.
So that's it.
It happened.
It happened.
The publisher. How does this happen? Oh, if you only knew.
Oh yeah, and the more you look at a word, you're like can't decide. You keep questioning yourself, but your mind sees what it wants to see.
Yeah. Oh
as
yeah.
You read it, it makes it that word. Just like when you're typing, on Word or something, or especially my email, and I don't capitalize Kurdy. You know how it just changes it for you right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't always do that when it's on the front of the magazine. It doesn't say to you, yo, idiot, this is wrong.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Exactly. But I've done that on, the first copies of the design to go out. It's like, so you got the good one that's misspelled. Keep that. It'll be,
Collector's edition, yeah.
Exactly.
First edition, collector's edition. Hang on to that sucker. You bet.
Exactly. It's like, oh, would you look at that?
Yep. Just a few minutes left here. In your classes, whether they're online or live, what are some of the challenges that you encounter frequently? Are there things that stick out that every class that this pops up that you could offer something to help people?
I think my greatest thing I have, and a few teachers do, Debbie does and everything, the document cameras and that sort of thing where you can show the stitch to everybody at once up on the wall, 2 foot by 3 foot. But it's always interesting in a class. There are certain things, like if you're doing a crescent, a fleur-de-lis type crescent, and when you get to number 26, all the even stitches will keep going down in 26. I swear to you, I can do it on the camera. I can tell it, and it can be in red on the instructions. but you can count 7 to 10 minutes, and someone will go, "What happened to number 28?" And the rest of the class goes. It goes into 26, but it's just because they're thinking already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're getting their thread, they're getting their needle, they're right, and they're finding their starting place, and they miss it. I just find that one to be humorous. I just time it all the time. But as far as the encounters, well, you know, it's nice. I did not realize at first that if I wanted a chair that I had to actually put that down.
Oh.
I got into a 4-day class, and we're looking around, and there are 24 chairs. I'm like, okay. The class angel went and found me a chair. But then in another class, when I had my own chair in, then I couldn't walk around the room. So that was interesting. I never thought that I would have to put down there that there would be enough room behind the students I could actually
walk. Yeah, that's kind of essential, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and once we got told that we couldn't stay in the room and we had to leave. That was special.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we went to some poor lady's house.
Oh.
And I walked in a giant circle all day, up 2, over, down 1, across, up 2, around the middle of the house. It was excellent, but she was wonderful because she said, okay, 12 people can come to my house. But it is interesting. I have not yet had any trouble with the lack of electricity because teachers get it as long as we ask for it. Sit down, both groups, or the students must bring battery-powered lights.
Yeah.
But I am told if you don't ask for electricity, you might not have any, which makes it hard to run the laptop, the document camera, and the projector, because I don't know that there's a battery out there that's going to do that for very long.
No.
But for the most part, you have wonderful students.
Yeah.
And it's excellent.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things about teaching adults is the motivation is there.
Yeah. Yeah, because they've come and they want to do this.
Yeah.
And they're excited. And so it's fun, and I've had people emailing me in the last month going, Kurdy, I got into the wrestling class. I'm so excited. And I'm like, okay, good, because it's always nice to know that you know a few people that are there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that wrestling, that angel, that is...
Do you like her?
That's beautiful.
I kept asking everybody as I designed her, what does it look like to you?
Oh, it looks like an angel.
Yeah. There was one lady at seminar that couldn't get it in the previews. What is this?
Couldn't see it, huh?
No. But so I think that's going to be a very popular one. It's fun, and it's different. There are not that many geometric angels out there.
No.
So, Nan, National Academy of Needle Arts had a challenge at their exemplary last year, and it was an angel challenge. And I had seen Tony Gerdes, who did a totally lovely little angel, and I started to do a nice, 1-day class angel. But she grew up. She just kept getting bigger, so...
Couldn't help yourself, huh?
No. I was having fun with the wings, moving all the little crescents around to make the wings.
Well, it works. No, I saw immediately, angel. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's pretty.
Yep.
And we had great fun. Last weekend I was in Florida, and we did the pilot for the Dolly's Diamond. And that was really fun. So I have to say that John figured that out. I saw a cube with a middle, and I said, I want to make one of these, and he figured out how to do it, and it's pretty fun. And there's a middle piece, and you get to the end of the first day, we paint those 3 middle squares so you can have it look different from the rest. And everybody had great fun getting the paints and glue and stuff out to mix the glitter in, and it was fun.
Something different. Yeah, one of the big pluses of being married to an engineer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like this has to work somehow. So people love the fold up ornaments because they're not that overwhelming, right? It's 2 to 3 inches per side, and you don't have to have them finished, and you can hang them up anywhere, and they look pretty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I decided that we would try a 9-sided one, and it works.
Hey.
And I actually gave them each extra charts to cut up on paper. So we all put one together with tape and paper, so everybody does know that it does work. And then they have another one to put together before they put the the honest to goodness ornament together. They can do a paper version. So that seemed to work pretty well. A friend of mine had said she did a class like that. So as opposed to me walking around class trying to show you, this way everybody can hold up their own.
Yeah, and take it with them. And
Yes, and say, okay, it does make this shape.
Yep. Just got to get there. Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a fun thing. You know, when you propose a class and it gets accepted, you're like, okay, good. But until you actually do the pilot, you don't know if the students will get into it.
Right.
But they really did. They did. So that was great.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Okay, we got to stop. Darn it.
Okay.
So that means you got to come back, but sooner than 2 years.
Okay, not a problem.
I think that's how that works. Yep.
Okay,
so,
well, thank you. It's been great fun.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. And thanks to everybody for listening. And quite frankly, I don't remember who's going to be here Wednesday. It's either going to be Arlene or Debbie or Vanna is going to be here Wednesday. I don't remember who. So that's trouble with the rotation. If I don't write it down, I don't know. So anyway. Yeah, one of those three. Kurdy, thanks. Enjoyed it. Fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Had a good time, Gary, and hopefully I'll see you at Fox Chapter.
I'm working on it.